know if it's working, but it's the famous Mass Effect theme song, as played on the Fart Mouth by Alex. It's almost like
Hello.
After Dark. I'm Eric. I'm here with Alex and Joe.
Yeah, not just Alex and Joe.
Mike.
I know the words to that song. It goes, I am the great super Mass Effect. Sorry, that's a spoil. They don't reveal the character's first name until the third game. I shouldn't have said anything.
Right.
So, so tonight we're going to check out a little bit of this Mass Effect Legendary. I keep wanting to call it the Legendary Collection, but it's called the Legendary Edition, which seems weird because it's a collection of all three games.
It's a collection. Yeah.
Also,
I feel
as far
they
as
made like a real oversight not calling it like the Play Mass Edition or something like that.
that would be terrible.
Copyright.
But also,
couldn't do it.
It's also weird because they didn't really change much about 2 and 3. The first Mass Effect seems like the one that they did the most work to. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's the one that needed the most work. So
I mean, that's true, but that's why it's a collection and not an edition. You know.
Right. I
don't know. Anyways, I could sit here and just stare at this menu and listen to this music for a long time, which I have been listening to this music for a long time, but
I used to just like stare at the galaxy map for a long time. Like,
it's good,
back in the
man.
day.
It's super. Yeah. There's like dozens of 12-hour loops of the Mass Effect galaxy map song to relax and chill to. So I don't know, I'm just gonna pick this up where I left off, which is a little bit in the game, like post your first trip to the Citadel.
Have you fucked Garrus yet?
I did.
You can't fuck Garrus in the first one.
You can't fuck Garrus in the first one. Come on, Joe.
Wait, no, yeah, you can. What am I saying?
No, not in
can
the first
you?
game. No, not in the first game. You
No,
can't
not in the
romance
first
Garrus
game. It's
until
only
He's not romanceable.
So because nerds are the most predictable thing in the fucking universe, I saw a video comparison
here's my
of
Shepherd. She looks a lot better than she did in the original game, especially
2009 or whatever.
2007 was when the first Mass Effect came out.
Yep. What a year that was.
What a year.
Rock Band and Mass Effect came out like on like the same like week.
I'll see if I can track down Caden, because he's maybe the best example of this. But they updated the faces, but they didn't change the hair, so they all have this like weird plastic Ken doll hair.
That's the Mass Effect version of you moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies.
There he is. Here's our boy. Everybody's least favorite Mass Effect character.
Please tell me you're gonna kill Caden.
I mean, check out that hair. It's just really weird because they like updated the face textures, like I said, but his hair is just like super old.
That is really weird.
Goodbye.
It's like if you put Lego hair on a person. Like
yeah.
Or like do you guys remember Liquid Television on MTV? There was like a recurring segment called Dog Boy, and all the people had these weird. They almost looked like human action figures.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. Kind of looks like that. The hair in this hair looks like that.
Also,
thinking of the video for Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
yeah, kind of like that too.
Yeah.
Or those weird ass Duracell commercials from the 90s where it was like the animatronic toy family all had Duracell batteries in their backs.
I don't know. Let's go find Liara. Shall we?
But
do that?
Because nerds are predictable, I saw a video across my feed that is a comparison of the scene where you fuck the blue chick, in the original version and the new version. I actually thought like the new version kind of looked worse than the original.
Yeah, some of the lighting
it's
stuff
like overlit. Yeah, it's
a little
it's
weird.
Super overlit.
But I mean, a lot of the texture work that they did is definitely
overlit with bloom lighting and RTX graphics.
I don't.
Does this game have ray tracing?
Does it have RTX?
Or ray tracing, that's what I meant. I have no idea. I'm just like, I've seen also basically similar things where they're like, look at this side-by-side comparison, how much better it is. I'm like, I don't know, it looks a little better, I guess.
It looks a little better, I guess, yeah. So the big thing in this game is that they fixed it so that there's no random dice rolls on your... There's no random dice rolls on your goal. Especially the big thing is, it's not even the damage thing that always drove me crazy, but it was for like hit die on... So whatever, sniper rifles were basically unusable.
Well, all of them got usable as you sunk points into that category, but
Yeah.
to
It was
start
the
with,
running thing was like pick a weapon, put like however many. There was like a threshold. It was like 5 points or something, and then like that gave you the mastery, and then now you can actually use it. So
Yeah.
just do that first, and then do whatever you want.
All right, I guess I don't know where
Yeah.
she is.
But now you don't have to do that.
remember which
but
of
that's
these-
fine. Like, I don't care if they've violated the sanctity of the original like action design in this game. I think it's great if this gets more people to play Mass Effect 1, which got dumped on a lot for this and for the inventory management. And I think that if you can get past those things, it's got some of the coolest locations and story beats of any of the games in
The
the series.
inventory is still, but it's not good.
God, just the end where you're walking on the outside of the Citadel during the attack. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
There's a lot.
I
Of
mean,
good
I
stuff in
really
this
liked
game.
Mass Effect 1 a whole hell of a lot, but I still felt like once 2 came out, it was like, oh, well, I never need to go back to that again. You know what I mean? Like, I like that game
I really
lot,
feel like
but-
the first game gives you some good classic sci-fi like settings and just atmosphere and stuff. Like, you spend longer in each location in the first game, and you go around and talking to people and doing more quests, as opposed to the second game. Every location is basically a level,
yeah,
right?
Except for
and they're-
the Nexus or whatever, the main planet that you spend most of your time on. Not the Nexus, that's the home base.
Citadel?
in
Citadel?
Andromeda. No, not the Citadel. The one with the bar, where you start out.
Omega.
Yeah, like I felt like that was a pretty good location.
Yeah.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
And 2 is the best. Don't get me wrong, but 1, I just like the fact that there were kind of like 4 locations in the game, and you'd spent 5 hours on each of them, so they felt more like
Yeah.
places.
It
See,
was
who
more
should I bring with
old
me? Should
school
I bring
BioWare
Rex
game.
and Garrus. The
What was
only, the one true Mass Effect squad, Rex and Garrus.
Oh yeah, that's
mean-
there's no other. Who else would you even?
Well, you're not going to put a human in there, are you?
Tali and Liara are both good.
I mean,
But-
see, that's the thing is the reason that 2 is the best of the Mass Effects is because that's where all the characters kind of really shine. Like this
But-
game, like they're pretty cool. Like the thing that is really awesome about this game is that like the first time you land on the Citadel and you bump into all these weird aliens, and it's not just like people with shit glued to their face, but there's also like the Volus and the Henar and the Elcor, which are all like really weird and quirky. And
Love the Elcor.
listen, who doesn't love the Elcor? What was the 007 Elcor?
No, it was the Hanar who was
Oh yeah, that's
a
right.
secret
Yeah.
agent. And then instead of saying I or me, you'd always say like, "This one has got you dead to rights,"
Yeah.
or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Vectro, was it?
I don't
I
know.
can't quite remember what his name was.
I don't
Blasto?
Oh, shit. I guess I'm not ready to fight a Thresher Maw. Damn.
Oh, the space cheap doesn't get any better, does it?
What's that?
The space cheap doesn't get any better as the game goes on, does
Doesn't
it?
it level up? I thought it got stronger as you could like, can you like buy improvements for it or something by scanning? I don't know.
I don't
I'm gonna
remember.
fuck off this planet though. This is the other thing about Mass Effect 1 that really doesn't hold up. They fix the controls a little bit, but nope, that's not how do I get off? Okay, here we go. Getting the hell out of here. They fixed the controls a little bit. It's not quite as squirrely as it was, but it still feels pretty bad to drive.
I want to
that
say it's
thing.
also pretty important to go into this game knowing that most of the side quests are kind of boring proc gen,
Yeah.
like super samey stuff. Drive across the map to a cube building and shoot 8 guys,
Yep.
and like you should
Yeah.
basically not do any of them that don't involve going to the moon.
Yeah, the moon one's pretty good.
Well, the moon one's also important.
That's
like,
how you get your like class or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you skip all of those and you end up with like a 25-hour RPG that's got an incredible soundtrack and is just like super fun.
It's true. I was hoping to find some place to land, but I can't remember which.
One thing that like has always stood out in my mind in that game is that you go to the planets, you do the side quests, you always end up in the same warehouse, you shoot a few guys, and like the boxes are arranged slightly differently, so on and so forth. But there's always like one quote whenever you're fighting like human enemies. There's always one quote that like comes up a lot, which is one of the guys will just say "enemies everywhere," and he says it like multiple times in a row, and I'm always like, That's not
There's
even like
three of
good
us.
grammar. Like, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? Like,
He
you
means
know, I
there's
don't know.
enemies everywhere. I don't know. What's
No, but
unclear
he's not
about
saying that there's enemies everywhere. He just says enemy is everywhere. Singular enemy is everywhere. And
that. Ah,
I'm always like, that's
In
Are you
space,
sure?
Is that
Yes.
in
Rex?
space, the collective of enemy is enemy.
that's right. In space, no one can hear you scream enemies everywhere.
yeah, I guess. Anyway, it's just that always like has like that's like it. You know, people say like something lives in your head rent free. That like I just like it pops up in my head like all the time, and I'm always like, why? Why did they say that? Like, why? It just I don't know. Anyway, I guess he said it because there were enemies everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It
Anyways,
seems like it's right there in the text.
Yeah, right. But
it's also
speaking
a
of,
super bummer to play this because this thing controls like a Halo thing where you push up on the stick and also use the same stick to steer.
that's
Which is
fucking
not
garbage.
good.
It's the worst
Especially
way to
coming off
drive.
of having, I just played a ton of Mass Effect Andromeda, which you can say whatever you want about that game, but the car in that game is really good and fun to drive. But I don't know.
Fucking 2007 was a hell of a year, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I said.
yeah, no, I'm just like looking at what actually came out that year, and I'm like, damn, like
Wasn't that
fucking-
BioShock too?
But yeah,
Also-
BioShock,
also-
the first Witcher,
Yeah.
Oblivion, the Orange Box, so Portal and Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, and like even there was even like smaller shit that was also like super. Like Hotel Dusk was 2007.
I don't know if I put that in the conversation with the rest of those, but okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd rather play fucking
it's a big kind of a stretch, but
Hotel Dusk than like I don't know.
Madden
BioShock?
2007 or BioShock at this point. Yeah.
I haven't revisited the original BioShock. I mean, I liked it a lot at the time.
I mean, worst case scenario, it's still an okay shooter that's set in a cool underwater.
Yeah,
area.
I would
It
guess,
would probably be
I would guess
fine,
that
but-
the one section with the serial killer guy is probably still pretty good. I don't know about the rest of it.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name or anything else about it, but
I can't remember his name either, but I know. who
One
you're
section
talking
that always stood out. Oh, was that like it was like a forest or something? Like there's that one part where like at the end you're like locked in a room and then they start playing that like that waltz song that I'm blanking on the name of, and then like all the dudes spawn in. And you're
Beyond
like,
the Sea?
No.
Sugar Plum Fairies.
yes, thank you. And then like yeah, that sequence is really cool. I always
That
like
sequence is very good. That's probably the best part of that game.
Yeah, I'm inclined to. No, the best part is like how it made us all think about narrative or
Did
something.
it make us think about that?
I mean the best thing
It
about
made
that
me
game.
think about narrative for like 4 minutes.
According to every video game journalist from 2007 to 2012, yes.
The best thing about that game was the art design.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. All the Art Deco stuff was really fun.
makes you can't go. This
Hey,
way.
remember when BioShock the
And
other one
and
came
the
out and it
plasmids
fucking
were
sucked?
really fun.
That game was good.
No, it was good, but it was just like it was fun, but it was also they were just like, hey, maybe they did the whole like both sides thing, and
I
it's
don't.
like, all
I
right, man.
don't. My personal interpretation of that game is that it is actually not that, and that it is very specifically calling that out. But I do
Wait, which
honestly
game?
do not want to
BioShock
get into
Infinite.
it. So
Okay.
because
I also like-
in that game you are like you literally play as the antagonist and the super racist guy. Like that's kind of the point of the game. So
Right.
I don't know. Anyways,
Is that you were a piece of shit before, and like, but for one particular event in your life, you would have become an even bigger piece of shit,
yeah.
and like,
It
Yeah.
includes a terrific version of God Only Knows.
it does. That's true.
That's
And
true.
Fortunate Son.
And
Yeah.
Fortunate Son, that's true.
Yeah.
Which
But
is
also, I
kind of
don't-
missable if you're not
Yeah.
paying
Yeah,
attention.
it's true.
You don't wander down to that part
I don't
of
wanna
the
get through this
area. You
gate.
can totally miss it.
I would like to put a
Anyways.
moratorium on that song being used in movie trailers ever again, especially for movies about Vietnam. Like
We just put like a moratorium on using pop songs in movie trailers.
Fortunate Son. No, there's just certain ones like
Listen,
I mean, it's a
Shelter
little
by the
unless
Rolling
it's set
Stones.
unless it's set in Vietnam, in which case you are legally bound. You have to use.
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty. Yeah,
No, I'm saying even then, perhaps especially then,
No.
don't use that fucking song.
It's a war crime that you play while war crimes are going on stage. Film.
But I mean, there was a lot of shit about Bioshock Infinite, but it was fun. It was fun. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Whatever your read on the narrative is, and the both sides are bad thing or whatever you think the thing, whatever your interpretation of that is, I still had fun with it. The end is kind of bullshit where you have to like defend the ship or whatever and fight off all the dudes.
Oh, that part is rough.
That kind of
Rough.
sucked. But yeah, I really liked. I guess I
It's
never
also
played
the section
Bioshock
when you
2, so
Come
I
back.
I also never. I own it,
same.
but never got around
All
to
right,
it.
let's check out the really.
It's
the,
not bad.
Let's check out
but
the Mass Effect game.
Looking for a game to capture.
Should be on.
There we go.
I would love it
are
if
you
you just
playing-
booted up Andromeda right
But
now.
but the thing where
Thinking
you
about it.
can use a gun and a plasmid or whatever, a tonic, I think they call it an infinite at the same
Yeah.
time. But I think that was in
Right.
2, right? You could do that in 2 before you
I
could
think,
do that in
I think
infinite.
that's right. I think that's right.
Because that was the thing
Wasn't
that
in
I
one.
no, you could use one or the other. You had to switch between them. You
Oh.
either had a gun out or you had your magic sparkly powers.
Or you were putting bees and things.
Or you were putting bees and things. Fuck yeah. That's
Why would you
exactly
not
what you
do
were
those
doing.
things?
Yeah, that's the thing that I worry most about when it comes to like if I ever want to go back to the
Putting
original
bees in things?
Bioshock. Yes, going back to the original Bioshock is how cumbersome would it feel? Because it felt cumbersome at the time, right? Like I was like, this is kind of bullshit that it makes me pick between the magic and the gun, basically. And now that
Yeah.
there have been multiple games in the series that don't do that, like I don't know that I would be able to go back to the first one and be like, yeah, this is still. I also remember feeling like it was kind of long. Like I liked it, but I was kind of like, this is fucking going on. a bit.
Bioshock 2 has the really excellent piece of DLC that I cannot now remember.
Minerva's Den.
Minerva's Den. Yeah.
I've been told that's the people have been like, you should, if you only like, just go play that. You don't even need to play the main game, but play Minerva's Den. And I've thought about, I have it on Steam. I should just go play that because it's only a couple hours, right? It's like 3 hours long or something.
I think that's right.
That's definitely
Is it like-
oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, is Minerva's Den basically a walking simulator type game? Is there combat? Are you like doing puzzles and shooting stuff?
I don't know.
Because that
I
was
played it.
Steve Gaynor's first project, wasn't it? Like his
Yeah.
before Gone Home
Yeah.
was Minerva's Den.
Yeah. I believe. God, I can't. It's been so long since I can't remember exactly.
Joe, go find out.
Don't listen to him. He's been indoctrinated.
Did anyone notice that
Spoilers.
False Logic is in the chat talking to us?
Nope,
No.
I don't have the chat up.
Yep.
What's up,
'Cause
False
It's all,
Logic?
We're-
it's all his favorite internet people.
How you doing, buddy?
Yay.
He liked becoming a Randy and Superman after playing Bioshock and playing Pipe Dream.
The
And,
pipe, people complained
tried to
about the
decide
pipe
about
dream mini game, but I
mentioning
actually kind of
Pipe
liked
Dream.
it. Yeah,
I thought it was fine.
Me too.
I thought it was totally fine. Let's see. Minerva's Den is a single-player downloadable content campaign released for the 2010 first-person shooter game Bioshock 2.
Oh man, I forgot how tense the opening of this game is.
Let's see here.
Are you playing 2?
Yeah, I started up too.
Man, that game starts so
The
good.
gameplay is similar to that of Bioshock 2 with new enemies and weapons. So I'm going to say
Okay.
not a walking
Yeah,
simulator.
I was pretty
But-
sure it was, but I didn't want to.
Wait, you mean so it's a shocking simulator then?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
But Minerva's
Shocking,
Den
yeah.
was created by a small team at 2K Marin led by Steve Gaynor.
Yes.
Well, you should try it, Joe. I've heard it's good.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner.
And you can talk to multiplayer online.
Yeah.
Looks like a cruiser.
Who was that? A Rob Zachney favorite? Who was that? That was all about that.
I'm not sure.
There was somebody on a podcast that I used to listen to and spent a lot of time talking that Bioshock 2 multiplayer up, but I can't remember who it was now.
I just always think of the Idle Thumbs guys playing Pikmin 2. I think of kind of obscure multiplayer games that people got way into.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 2007, that was also the year of Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah, that game was cool at the time, but now I'm not really sure how I feel about it.
Which game?
I
Well, I mean, it was
call
incredible when
modern,
it came
the
out.
first Modern Warfare.
Yeah, but just the whole thing about like playing like a super jingoistic, like yeah, U.S. military fucking rules, like in
Well, that's-
2021.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I personally
mean,
care about
it's
that.
Isn't that every
I mean,
Call of Duty game?
I would say that bothered me in
Right.
2007, but
Yeah.
I still had fun with the game.
Yeah,
It has a couple subversive bits to it, which I think kind of take the edge off. Like the bit where you're in
Yeah.
the gunship and you're just exploding people from 20,000 feet. I don't think you're supposed to feel good doing that.
Right.
You're not supposed to.
Or at least I didn't feel
but
good when I
people
did
did.
it at the time in 2000.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure some people would, but I think the point of that level was to make you realize how weirdly dehumanized war
Is
had
that the-
become.
Is that the one where you end up getting nuked and crawl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Moments? Yeah.
Ooh.
But realizing how like shitty war, like trying to make a point about how shitty war is while making you feel like a badass super soldier killing like evil Russians,
Yeah.
doesn't really hit, right? It's like war sucks, but this is fucking awesome, and like
In their
It's that,
defense, it was kind of awesome.
it's that GIF about like Gundam where it's
Yes.
like, wow, cool robot, you know, yeah.
Except that they were trying to call attention to the rainbow. The war was bad rainbow. Whatever.
Yeah. There's definitely
I don't know.
there
That
are
man on
definitely
the Silver Mountain, or
It's almost like video games are not an ideal storytelling medium for a lot of types of stories.
I mean, you know,
weird.
there's definitely
Weird, funny how
some-
that works.
Going back to Mass Effect 1 and going to the Citadel for the first time, there's definitely like, especially the way the Asari are portrayed, is definitely like, these are the sexy aliens that are here because you
Yes.
want to look at the sexy aliens, and I like some of that.
Don't
stuff
worry,
is-
anybody can have sex with them.
Right. It's just like, come on.
That's one of their
guys.
selling points.
Yeah.
And they're all sexy blue ladies for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, they are sexy blue ladies. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
100%.
But yeah, it's like
If you're-
like the first like one of the first things you go to on the Citadel is a bar where there's just like a bunch of Asari and Go-Go cages like doing
Right.
awkward Mass Effect
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah, really weirdly animated
Yeah.
dancing. Yeah.
If you're being really
Yeah,
charitable,
this whole section just blew my mind.
oh, this part's incredible. Yeah, stepping out onto the bridge here.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Where
And
the
that camera
hell
up.
is this going?
If you want to
I
be really
realized
charitable, you
Fulbright
could say
hasn't
that this
done
is
anything since
Oh, my
Tacoma.
ship. Ship. Since what?
Tacoma was the last thing Fulbright
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Well, they were working on.
Something.
No, that's the wrong company.
I assume they were working on something.
They are working on something, but I can't remember. But, I was gonna say in the Valley of the Kingdom. That's Campo Santo.
Wait, is Joker going into space wearing short sleeves?
I mean, he's got a special weird helmet on, so he'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I think there's
Look,
an
man,
escape
the
pod.
tickets to the gun show don't expire just because you go into space, all right?
Yeah, man. Don't be. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
But
Hey, there are definitely some.
Yeah.
There are definitely some bad excesses in the Mass Effect series, and like all the Asari, everything that is done with Miranda and cameras in the second game,
Right.
and everything that is to do with EDI in the third game are all just hyper embarrassing. But if you want to be really charitable, you could say that that's kind of a throwback to classic science fiction, which was often
100%
very
is,
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
both
Same
of those
way.
things, yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
thing with the Asari is, at least by the time you get to the end of 2 and you learn all about
If you play the Shadow Burger.
the Shadow Broker, and also not
Which
just
I
the
feel like you
Liara
have to
stuff,
play.
but what's her face, the
The matriarch on the
Oh,
planet.
Yeah.
right.
Mara and the other
Yeah.
one.
I can't remember
Yeah.
her name, but her
Samara?
and her 2 daughters, yeah, Samara, that's
Samara,
it. Her and her
yeah.
2 daughters and all that stuff. Like I feel
Yeah.
like in the end they kind of did right by those as characters,
Yeah.
even though the
Yeah.
the idea behind the race is pretty gross.
No, they're
Yeah.
not bad. They're just drawn that
Start
way.
from a
yeah.
great. Yeah, that doesn't start from a great place.
Yeah. The
No,
other
but
thing,
then they did ED in Mass Effect 3, and I just don't see how you justify that.
What if you could fuck the computer?
What if
You
they
ever
gave
think
the
about
computer-
that?
What
I
if
think
they gave the
Alex-
computer tits?
I think about
What
it
if your
all the
computer
time.
had tits, bro?
I think
Ella
about it all the time.
Dildonics is really a thing.
But yeah, and the other
I mean,
thing...
listen, you don't get the sex robot from Battlestar Galactica and not make her a sex robot.
the other thing about that game that is maybe a little bit, it's just how intense the space racism is all the time. It's kind of off-putting.
Actually, False
just
just
like-
said that the game is infused with racial essentialism, which is, you know, a real hallmark of all science fiction. But
Yeah.
yeah, like,
It's,
you are this race, and so you are this way.
right, but not
Right.
just that, but like because like the humans and the
It's
Turians
all
like,
like-
bumped into
yeah.
each other, and then it's like, so all the humans hate all the Turians, but it's up to Shepard to teach everyone that racism is wrong. And I like that stuff is whatever. I feel like a lot of that stuff we kind of made fun of even back then. So
But I feel like Jennifer Hale sells it. That's all I'm
I
saying.
mean, I guess you can lean into it and be the space racist if you want to. Also,
No, but fuck that.
right? Like,
I mean,
Talk-
isn't like, I mean, that's part of the whole appeal, right? Is that you can either be not a space racist or you can be the biggest space racist,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about
What's-
Andromeda.
What's the equivalent of a misanthrope for all alien races? That's the question.
Right. That's one of the things that
Oh.
I did really enjoy about Andromeda is that it kind of like leans away from that stuff and turns it into a little bit more fun, like we're all in this together, which is also, you know, kind of maybe embarrassingly naive in a way, but it just kind of felt good to do that in
That's Star
this
Trek-ian.
2021. Yeah, right. Where it's like we're all 2.5 million light years away from home, so we better fucking figure out how to get along.
You know, has anybody asked Yvonne Strahovski if she contractually required them to shoot, you know, low angles of her fantastic ass?
How much
That's the-
extra? How much extra did they pay her to?
right, to get the motion camera right up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Like I said, apparently a lot of that stuff is. I don't know. It's so. It was so weird.
not
Like that was a
bad.
thing that like we definitely noticed and talked shit
Yeah, it wasn't
about that
even
in
like you were like,
2010.
are they lingering a little too
Right.
much on her ass here? It was like,
You would walk
wow.
in the room
There's
and
no-
the
there's no
fucking
judgment
camera
call.
would like zoom in on her butt.
I mean, you know, Shepard's on the make all the time, but still.
A clip.
Do you guys remember Ikumi Nakamura? She was the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo director who got very enthusiastic at E3 and everybody loved her.
Yeah.
a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. And now she's
Uh,
horny.
I was gonna
Quote,
say she got
unquote.
extremely horny for Lady Dimitrescu on
Did
Twitter
she?
today. Yes, or
Oh,
yesterday,
wow.
earlier this week.
I
In the
appreciate
game-
her
Oh man, it's a
enthusiasm.
vault cover in this
I
game.
appreciate her enthusiasm for all things.
In the game, Ethan is tortured and harassed by Lady Dimitrescu. I enjoy it from Ethan's point of view. I wish this time could go on forever. Heart emoji.
Great.
Thanks you all for letting me know. I learned today what horny jail means.
Oh boy.
You go. You go. I also appreciate that Eric made no effort to pretend that not playing FemShep was an option.
What's that?
As if.
There's only Jennifer Hale as Shepard, and then apparently there's like another secret Shepard you can play if
Yeah,
you
I
suck
think
at
that's
Yeah,
like a
if you
fan
screw
mod.
up, yeah, if you screw up and somehow mess up Mass Effect 1, you can play as like substitute wrong Shepard.
You have to download a mod, but I think it'll give you a virus, so don't do it.
So here's, on a serious note, I do have to say, I have noticed that everybody's FemShep looks totally different, but all of the dude Sheps I've seen look exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
Do they all look like the Chris's in some way?
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't they all just look like the default model because he looks way better than anything you can make?
False Logic says only Paragon FemShep would waste time trying to teach people shit. The real FemShep, Renegade, is too busy blowing shit up.
I did exactly two, if I recall correctly, two Renegade prompts in the entire series.
It is the one thing Mass Effect 3
Well, I
does
guess
better than the other
There
two
might
games.
be more than one where you punch somebody. where you punch an idiot reporter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a callback to that in 3? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But Mass Effect 3 lets you decouple the actions from your reputation.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
right.
you can occasionally do bad stuff if you think it makes more sense without losing the ability to persuade people.
Mass Effect 2 also made it so that when you fucking were a renegade, you turned into a goddamn Terminator.
Right,
Like
yeah,
you
your
had
face
like
would split
fucking
apart
you had
as a-
4 guys.
Oh,
and
that's
shit.
right. I totally forgot that.
Yeah,
That
it
sounds
was like
sick as fuck.
well, it was like in Knights of
right,
the Old
execute those
Republic, like when you
motherfuckers.
went to the dark side, your face would you get pale and you get these like veins
Yeah.
and scars and
Yep.
shit in your
Right.
face.
Help me,
So they were like,
Obi-Wan
we're gonna
Shepherd.
do that, but instead, since you're like part robot, you're gonna like your Terminator
You're
parts
gonna
will
be more
like
robot.
light up. Whereas if you become Paragon, you just like look like a
It's
dude.
foreshadowing for the end of the game. That's really what it is.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, bud.
False Logic says male Shep is definitely a Chad.
But is that hanging Chad? That's the question.
Yeah, right. And he says, I think you get to hit the reporter in all 3 games.
Yeah, you do.
What's up, buddy?
So, yeah.
I haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing, Jake?
I'm really glad that the whole like binary morality system seemed to have made their way out of video
Yeah.
games. Like
Yeah.
that whole thing where like you're either like a saint or you're the worst motherfucker in the
Right.
universe.
Well, that was one of the things that was cool about Mass Effect, right? Was because it was like you were kind of like you weren't like good or bad in a lot of the cases. It's just like in one you were like the asshole who's just trying to
More
get shit
callous.
done, right?
Yeah.
And then in the other one you were like more kind, but you weren't necessarily like whatever. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't kill the puppy
Yeah.
or pet the puppy.
All right. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like what was Infamous was really bad about that, and you
Yeah,
couldn't try to be
100%.
like you either had to be one or the other because your powers unlocked based on how you like
Yep.
leveled up your morality. So if you
Yeah.
tried to be like in the middle, you would just get nothing.
I'm gonna say I don't really care for the default Shepherd face that much.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot about Jacob.
I know he's.
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Also,
I don't like Jake.
Was
this
there
is
ever a
Commander
good
Shepard,
human
and
companion
this is my
character?
favorite Mass Effect.
No.
my favorite human companion. I'm pretty sure is Vega from the 3rd game.
I
think it's pretty
literally
good.
don't remember him at
I
all.
I talked to him and did his first mission, like that you're on Mars or whatever. I was like, cool, that dude's gonna stay in the
So-
garage the whole game. Where's
Sorry,
Garrett?
which Vega is he? The dictator Vega, or is he the one with the claw and the mask?
He's the one with the
Vega?
claw. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
I just remember him being way more interesting than he looked.
Yes.
Because I was gonna write him
He has
off
the
as
whole
being just,
story
like,
about his his husband. And
Were there other new characters in Mass Effect 3?
It was
Well,
me,
Javik.
Liara,
Oh, Evie.
Ashley or Kaiden, Garrus,
Javik.
Did you get?
Vega, and then one more.
Was
There
there
were 6,
Grunt?
I
Was
think.
there a Krogan? Was Grunt back?
Grunt was
Was not back.
no Javik.
Javik, but he was
Javik, right.
DLC.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but he's
That
also
it?
like the
He's
most
also, like,
interesting new
yeah,
character in
the
that
most
game.
important character in the game.
I
and they put him in
I did
DLC.
not care for Javik
I don't
either.
listen.
In my time, the Reapers were everyone. All right, dude, cool. Yeah, all right.
That's good.
But
That's
also he
good.
makes fun of everybody.
Yeah, it's fun. He's
It's
a good
just
time.
I couldn't get over how he just sounded like he was from Space Jamaica. Oh, Tolly, duh.
Probably,
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
but
There
I
are
was
less
like I
characters
could
in
not
3 than 2.
get over
Vega,
the fact
Liara,
that the
Garrus,
Proteans, the race that like
PD.
came before everyone and the most
Javik.
advanced people in history were just space Jamaicans. Like I was like, no, not that nothing wrong with Jamaica or anything. I'm just like,
Don't you be questioning Zion, man.
oh, boy.
yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, why was that? I don't know.
Somebody read
It's-
Neuromancer and thought the Space Jamaicans in that book were cool.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
He's just fucking. He
I
just
don't know,
hangs out.
listen.
He fucking hangs out in a closet and touches water all
Listen,
the time.
if we're
That's
gonna
all he does.
if we're gonna do the thing where we like talk shit about Mass Effect 3, we're gonna be here like all night. So
I actually think Mass Effect 3 is good.
I mean,
so, like,
it's really
I do
fun.
too.
It plays great. It's the best playing. Like really, there's like really
I
good
just,
level
like,
design in it. And
2 is
and also
clearly
I
the
will say
best,
that one of
but-
the things about 3 that I liked was the ending. It's all the other stuff in 3 that I didn't like like the endless amounts of like busy work side quests that have no writing. Like there's times where like you're running down through the Citadel or whatever, and Shepard will overhear somebody talking about their lost pendant, and she's like, "Well, can I find that? Because it'll help my galactic readiness." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like it's just ridiculous.
Oh, I see.
whole,
You don't want the galaxy to be ready. Fine.
I
You're a
guess not. It's
sympathizer.
a pretty goddamn good pendant or whatever. It's just
The
there's
whole
a lot
like
of stuff in that.
galactic readiness thing was
Don't you
just
want
like,
to
all right, guys,
engage
come
with
on.
Mass Effect on the Mass Effect app on your phone to increase your galactic readiness level? Fortunately, you
turns out-
didn't.
Have
It turns
Reaper
out I
Pac-Man.
do not.
Yeah, you didn't actually have to do any of that stuff. You could just play the game,
You did not. Yes.
and it was fine. But I don't know. There's just
ME3 had Reaper Pac-Man, right? Where you was like tooling around the solar system, and then all of a sudden a Reaper would show up and go blah.
Yeah.
That was goofy. I mean, 3 is full of way too many conveniently tied bows on every single like side quest introduced in the first 2 games.
and also a lot of
But-
them are very rushed. Like you just you show
Yeah.
up and you interact with the thing that you saw in one of the previous games for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's gone forever.
also fix every problem in the galaxy in the space of like 30
Before
hours.
they blow the whole thing up.
I don't know. I didn't dislike the game, and we've been over the ending a billion times.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't like it. I don't think I like it any more than I used to.
False Logic wants to know if 2 or 3 had the fun, good multiplayer. I don't even remember that
It
there was.
doesn't have any
Three.
multiplayer.
3
Two
and
didn't have any
Andromeda
multiplayer.
also.
3
both
and
have-
Andromeda both have different but fun multiplayer.
I don't care.
Yes, that's
Andromeda has like a lot of loot box. Well, they both had loot box shit, but Andromeda gets like really boxy.
3 was like the introduction of that stuff, which is bad in its own way, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like all pervasive the way it is in Andromeda.
Yeah.
Also, False mentions Rex is in 3, isn't he? Well, yes, conditionally, but he's not in your party.
Yes.
Right. You
can-
get
you
you
can
get an
meet him.
opportunity to visit with a lot of people from the previous game that you don't get to play with, so that you can get some closure on all that shit.
Same with Morden. Imagine Morden and Rex in the same party. Too
Imagine,
powerful.
yeah, I mean, listen. Rex would probably justifiably murder Morden, so
You would certainly be justified.
yeah.
Would indeed.
I'll say one thing I will say for Mass Effect Andromeda, hell of a good cast of companions. The problem is that the stuff, it's all like super backloaded, so you don't get to like actually hang out with them in a meaningful way until you've played like 20 hours of the game. So
That must be why I
Yeah.
don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
And going back to the top of the conversation here, that's what makes this game good, is that it's all about just hanging out with it.
right, the
Everybody's-
thing that BioWare has always been the best at, going all the way back to
It's like,
Baldur's
let's
Gate
just
1,
make the game about that.
is it's like you and a bunch of your buddies like hanging out, chit-chatting while you're like running around murdering whatever it is
Whatever
that
it
you're
is,
murdering
yeah.
in those games, whether it's
Yeah.
whatever Minsk in the Baldur's Gate games, or Deacon in Neverwinter Nights, or HK-47
Deacon.
and Knights of the Old Republic, or
Goater, yeah.
Candorus Ordo, or whatever.
Iron Bull, the only good character in Inquisition.
I didn't finish that game because I lost my save like a third.
He's a horny demon man.
But
Cool.
I thought some of the other characters were kind of all right.
Isn't that all?
I don't remember any of the characters in the original Dragon Age either, though. So
There was the witch
There's
lady.
Varys, who carries over.
There was the elf dude who had the voice actor for Balthier, so I just called him Balthier.
one thing that I'm really glad is still in
That was
all these
two.
Mass Effect games is
Being
the
a
way that your
racist.
character will awkwardly look down and to the right all the time when you're running around for no reason.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe there's something funny on the
Um,
ground.
I guess.
Also, Kurt,
yeah.
it's not racist. It's like a privilege to be called Balthier. Balthier is fucking awesome.
I
That
didn't
dude
mean the
rules.
Balthier part was racist.
Oh,
I meant
okay,
the dude
okay.
was racist.
Yeah, the guy.
Oh,
in
was he? I don't
Dragon
remember
Age
anything
is
about
racist.
him.
Oh my
He's a-
God.
He's an elf. He's like he'll
He's-
only date you if you're an elf and you like only like.
Varric. That's the
Well,
dude's
that's
name
not
was trying
true
to
because
name,
I
Varric.
played as my Hawk. If you remember, they did the Shepherd thing where your character was always named like Hawk. My character, who was a girl who was named Lady, was. Thank you. I was gonna let you guys figure that out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
Great.
That's good.
totally fucked that dude because I was like, absolutely, I'm gonna
Really?
fuck Balthier.
I thought he
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you could only date him.
I
if you
didn't
were an
say-
elf.
listen,
Maybe you
I
can
don't
only,
know
Maybe you
how-
can only romance him if you're an elf. Yeah.
He's shitty to
No,
you
I-
if you are an elf.
I
If you're the
romanced
wrong
him.
elf.
No, I mean complete the love story or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Whoa, no.
So yeah, I don't know, but I made it happen. That
How's
game
Magic gonna
also
get it on
kind of
with Cassandra?
sucks. I guess we're just talking about BioWare games now, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Apparently.
that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah. That game was also the ultimate here's one side quest. The Templars are bad in this one. Here's another side quest. The mages are bad in this one. Here's another side quest. The mages are bad in this one.
I mean,
and
it
it's
turns
like
out the
just
mages
back
are
and
bad.
forth, and then hey, guess what happens at the end? You have to choose between the mages and the Templars. It's like, oh yeah, cool. And it's like,
Man.
hey, you got forced into this situation by a completely insane circumstance that comes out of nowhere. And it's like, but now you must choose. Isn't that important and interesting? It's like, listen, dude,
Gotta say,
fuck off.
Mass Effect 2, pretty fucking good.
Mass Effect 2 is great.
Yeah.
This is the first time hearing about it.
I like
Was
Mass
this was
Effect 2.
this was our most agreed on game of the year until last year.
Kill Control.
Until Control.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I think it's still the only one that had 3 number ones, though, right?
Everyone who played it.
It's the best Star Trek video game that's ever been made.
Okay,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's not fair because most of the actual Star Trek video games are
I
fucking
know.
terrible.
I know. I'm just
Hey
saying.
man, there's
it's,
Elite Forces. It's a first-person shooter in the Quake 1 engine.
Oh, I vaguely recall that being a thing. I didn't think it
What
was
about
good.
Bridge
though. Is it
Crew?
good?
Yeah, that was
No.
a good time. Theoretically.
Waiting for you in the other room.
I was gonna say, where do
all right.
we go?
So I don't know. What have
Baldur's
you
Reach.
guys? You
but-
guys been
The elusive
playing
man is
anything
waiting
else
for you in the other
interesting?
room.
So did we talked before we actually went online? We talked about talking about this fucking bullshit with the amiibo and fucking Skyward Sword, but I don't think
Why
we
is
actually
this an
talked
option?
about
What is this
Oh.
supposed to be? By the way, what is this? Is this
What is-
like a
What?
latex cocktail dress? What does this look?
The thing that Miranda's wearing. You
No,
mean?
the thing that Shepard's wearing in the character appearance selection screen.
That is
I'm looking at.
absolutely it's supposed to be like a rubber cocktail dress
got
for sure.
like a zipper up the butt. Like what? Why does?
Well, I mean, a lot of women's dresses zipper up the butt. That's not
It's true.
that's not weird.
It's like, and
I
then
mean,
this one looks like
it's
she's
not
a
unusual.
blacksmith, or like a
Right.
sexy blacksmith. I don't know. Like some of these clothing design choices are a little suspect. I gotta say.
Sexy blacksmith, tell me more.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Um,
Suddenly it gets quiet.
Right.
we're just thinking about the
Everybody's
sexy
contemplating
blacksmith.
sexy blacksmiths. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the stream delay to get us to the point of sexy blacksmith, so we can figure
So then
out
we can be
exactly
like,
what Eric is talking
yes.
about.
So some of this must be DLC stuff because I don't remember seeing some. I don't remember having a latex cocktail dress
No, I
outfit
don't
for my
remember that
Shepherd.
either. I think you might be right, Mike. I don't know for sure though.
What's
But-
the one piece of DLC that they didn't include? Is it
The
the one from the
Citadel,
end of the
or-
first
or-
I
game?
thought we'd be meeting face
No,
to
it's
face.
from
Pinnacle Station,
you?
it's called, right?
Pinnacle Station. Yeah, it's the one where you just go back to the Citadel and hang out and have a party.
That's Citadel, isn't it? That's in 3, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I thought
Mm,
Pinnacle
I
Station.
thought
Wait,
it was
is,
in 2.
all right, I'm gonna try to find
I
out
thought it
because
was
I
in
can
one.
think of.
Yeah, I thought it was something that made sense that it didn't.
It's for the
wasn't
original
included,
game, I think.
But I can't remember.
Say, if only there was some tool we had access to where we could look up the answer and know for sure.
Pinnacle Station is the second
doing
downloadable
important
content
work,
pack for
yeah.
Mass Effect, and it was developed by Demiurge Studios. As I recall, it was one of the least important bits of the story. It's
Oh,
like you
sorry.
go to a space station and you have to fight some Batarians for some
Yeah,
reason.
you're
something like
correct.
that.
That is not included. The source code was lost
Yeah.
effectively.
What a shame.
So, because the
But I
one
thought
at
I'd
the
heard
end of
that the other one, the one that I'm talking about.
because there's the one at the end of Mass Effect 2, which is where you set things up for the third game by blowing up a mass relay. I want to say.
is that Shadow?
And then-
No, that's not Shadow Broker.
No,
Shadow Broker.
it had a
is,
different
Shadow
name.
Broker is the one true Mass Effect DLC.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
I mean,
Citadel
pretty
1 and
much
3 is really
all-
good.
All the Mass Effect DLC in 2, in my opinion, is good.
I don't. There's the Overlord one was not that good, and then there's also
I
the one
liked
where you
it.
have to drive the stupid, crappy Mako around more, and that one was also not good.
I like that. I said what I said. I liked all of it. Like I think all of it. Some of it is better than others. Certainly.
Let me refer to previous me.
Yeah. But some of it's better than others. But I liked all of it. Like I like the one where you like have to go off by yourself for a little while and like fight guys like because you're infiltrating the base and shit. I thought that was cool. Being in the weird computer was cool. The like fucked up weird semi Mako was cool.
That was not cool.
Like. Obviously Shadow Broker's the best.
Also
but
the Overlord.
the fucking like the
Overlord
heist
story
mission
is,
with the robot, the future ninja, like was cool.
Kazumi?
Kasumi, yeah.
He was a
Shadow.
DLC character, right?
Right.
Yeah, Vito. We
Her
gotta get
and
Vito,
they
dude.
brought-
Me and what's his name are gonna go get Vito, dude.
Right.
It still cracks
They
me.
brought they
Hey,
brought
look,
like
it's a
a
cigarette smoking man. No way.
Zaid.
Zaid, right? Who's just like shitty Canderous Ordo, which was
Yeah.
he was like okay, but it's just every time
Shepherd.
I hung out with him, I was like, how come this isn't just Canderous Ordo? And also, if Canderous Ordo is in this game, where's HK-47? Like, what's going on here?
The thing about Zaid is just like he became like a running joke between me and my friends at the time, which was just like, "Hey Shepard, I gotta go. I can't do this. I gotta go get Vito." That's his entire character. He's just gotta get that Vito, man. And then once he does, once that's dealt with, he never says or does anything ever. And you can do that at the beginning of the game. It's like one of the
Yep.
first things you
And
do.
then you go down to talk to him, and he's like, "So."
He's like, "What's up? I'm just thinking about how I got Vito."
Like, well, okay.
All right, do you wanna hang
was-
out? No.
What's the sexy reptile man in this game's name?
Thane?
Yeah, there you go.
Thane,
I forgot
yeah.
that Zaid looks like angry Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he does.
I just agreed to work with
Should I buy shoes or a hat?
At least you're giving me a chance.
All right, I'm gonna punch out of this one. Please have fun affecting the mass.
Well, good night, Mike.
All right, well, I'm gonna buy a hat because nobody answered. Good night, Mike.
Sounds like that's what you really wanted to do, anyways, Alex.
I mean, I'm gonna buy both eventually.
What's that?
Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. It's too late.
What are you doing?
He bought a hat.
I bought a hat.
Bought a hat? There's
Bought a hat.
Oh, now she's doing it. The weird looking down thing.
Turkey Dingus is here, everyone. Turkey Dingus. You know him so well.
What did you buy a hat in?
Final Fantasy. I've been playing this whole time.
Oh, okay.
My boy McNugs Spicy is here.
Oh boy.
What did I see earlier? Oh, there was a person named Gundam Pilot. And it had the title The Perfect Legend.
So,
Nice.
Joe, what was the thing that we were going to talk about that?
The
Can't
fucking
remember
Skyward
right now.
Sword bullshit.
Oh yeah,
right.
Skyward
So,
Sword. Yeah,
so
man.
what is this? Because I don't.
Are you
know
talking
what
about
Okay,
just? Are we just talking
alright,
about Skyward
so-
Sword, which is bullshit? Or
Yeah.
Skyward Sword is
Okay,
bullshit.
Skyward Sword is the worst Zelda game this side of the CDI. Let's get that out of the way
I don't
first.
agree with that, but that's only by one game.
Which
so.
one? Which one?
I don't like Train Tracks or whatever the fuck.
I
it's
haven't.
called.
I didn't play Train Tracks.
I didn't
so-
play it
Spirit-
because it looked
Spirit
bad.
Track.
So.
Yeah.
And I didn't
Yeah,
really like
but,
the other DS one that much. So.
I like that one.
Phantom
like,
Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass is like fine, but actually I don't know. Maybe Skyward Sword is maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Skyward Sword is worse. I'd have to think about that.
Skyward Sword
It's
sucks.
a it's a game of inches.
How do you
though.
feel
Both
about-
of them are like heavily
How do you feel about
But-
Greece?
But enough. Pull
But
up your
here's
pants and let's talk
here's
about
Groot.
this.
here's the thing.
He's a tree.
I'm Groot. Here's the thing.
Groot's just like whatever. I don't care.
Here's the thing about Skyward Sword. It sucks butt, but part of why it sucks butt is that it's a big pain in the dick to
Yeah.
get from the ground to the sky or from the sky to the ground.
Right.
So what Nintendo is doing in the remake is that if you buy a $25 like Princess Zelda and a giant bird amiibo, you can just swipe it on your Switch and instantly go from the ground to the sky or the sky back to the ground.
But you have to buy
you,
that.
but if you don't have the $25 piece of fucking plastic, then you can't do that.
Cool. Great.
That's really fucking dumb.
Uh-huh. And like I thought it was kind of dumb when there was like stuff in there was stuff in Mario Odyssey where like a Bowser amiibo could help you find the purple coins, and like different amiibos did different shit. And like that's fine, but this is like a new gameplay feature that is gated behind not just any old amiibo or any Zelda amiibo or any Princess Zelda amiibo, but a specific like double the normal cost of a regular ass amiibo fucking amiibo. And like that's just extra insulting. Like, you know, the game is already $60, and if you want to play it with one of the quality of life improvements that a modern remake like this should afford, you have to pay $85 instead
Free
of
money.
60 for it. Yeah. And, you know, again, like Skyward Sword fucking sucks butt. There's a 0% chance. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I ain't paying full price for Skyward Sword a second time. But, I mean, fuck, man.
The thing
Like,
about Skyward Sword is, if it wasn't like, it's like, if you could like compact the first like 10 hours into like what it should have been, which is more like
1
2
hour.
hours, yeah. Like suddenly that game's not so bad, probably.
I hated that game so much I didn't get through those 10 hours to get to the not so bad
Me
part.
neither.
So
There's a lot of
there's a lot of
Figure out
backtracking, isn't
once you're
there?
done
I remember that
around,
was
yeah.
Alex. Wasn't that like the number one thing you bitched about? Is you have to keep going back?
Yeah,
to,
there's
like, a
3
same-
areas, and then
Yeah.
you just go back and forth. And, like the dungeons are like baby's first Zelda dungeon. They're all like super simple, but have like cool aesthetics. You fucking fight that one boss 3 times, and it sucks shit every time.
Yeah.
And then like there's a boss rush, and it's like why like
There's a boss rush in a Zelda game. That's
it's like an optional thing, but I did it to
Hey.
get one of the upgrades, and then like
Listen.
one of the bosses that showed up like at the end was that one dude the second time you fight him, and it has like a bug that can happen, and then I like ruined the thing, and I was like, I guess I'm not doing that because I like failed. I was like, this game fucking sucks. And then you go do the
You
end,
still
and
played,
it's like
the whole thing.
I still beat it. Yeah, because I was dumb, and I used to just like, well, I paid for it, I should finish
It's
it. And it's like
Tolly!
now I'm just like, fuck that.
Allie.
I'm not gonna play this anymore.
Hell yeah.
Hell
I was
yeah,
like,
dude.
I guess
Don't
I
play
paid
it anymore.
$50 or $60 or whatever it costs due for this like symphony soundtrack CD and this fucking slick Wii remote.
What a completely
Oh, well.
insane statement that is to say to somebody. They rebuilt me and brought me back to life. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Everything.
And they're like,
I don't like them, but they brought me back to life, so I gotta hang out with them, I guess, a little bit.
yeah. It feels like I need to do some work for them.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna play that game, so.
Well,
if there's a
right.
Zelda
Yeah, I
game
don't
that I
give a
would
shit.
like to revisit and give a second chance to, it's probably Twilight Princess, which
Yeah,
there was like a Wii U version of that, right? That
Yeah.
There was,
smoothed
yeah.
out some
Yeah.
of the stuff.
There is.
So
Everyone else is dead.
I still have to give a first visit to Majora's Mask, and I bought it when it came out on
Oh,
3DS,
dude, that game's
and
great.
I still
That game
haven't
is great.
actually gone back and played it. So,
Oh, you should do that. That game's
I know.
great.
and I even have a new 2DS XL so that I can
To play what?
we'll play
Link
Majora's Mask.
Between. Oh,
No, I played Link
hear
Between Worlds.
I hear
played
DS
Link
and
Between
Zelda,
Worlds.
and I think, man, I should replay Link Between Worlds.
That game was also super good. I like
Make
that
sure
game
to
a
keep
lot.
it
It was
radio
super
well.
fun. But I've never played Majora's Mask, and I got the 3DS version and
I mean,
got a
that's
new
definitely the
2DS
version
XL
to
in part so
play.
I could play the you know.
The problem with
With all the bells
those
and whistles.
games is that the
We'll take care of him.
just how big and like some of the spaces are, just like kind of sucks to just like run from one end of the map to the other. It just seems like a
I
weird-
thought Majora's Mask had like a small map. I thought that was one of the things.
No,
people
no,
liked
like even
about
in
it.
the dungeons, like it takes like a long time to just get from one place to another in a weird way.
I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? It's
But
like the
they
size
also,
of the
maps are
rooms
not
are
also
too big.
huge. It's that they're empty.
Yes, right. Yes, it's like these big
I mean,
empty
that's-
spaces
You know,
because they had the
of its time.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Ocarina of
Yeah,
Time is
that's
also like
absolutely
that to a certain extent, but in Majora's Mask,
Yeah.
it's worse because they were like showing off what they could do with the memory pack thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I should play it at some point. People like it's so divisive that I feel like there at least has to be something interesting about it, right? Because there's a bunch of people who are like
Oh,
Majora's
for
Mask
sure.
is the best
I really
Zelda,
liked that game when I played
and a bunch
it.
of
That
people
game
who are like,
ruled.
this game fucking sucks. It's the worst.
Those
Zelda.
people are way wrong and stupid. Don't listen to them at all.
All right.
That's like ridiculous.
mean,
That's like a ridiculous statement.
There's a
Like,
lot of like just playing it can be especially in the original form when you didn't have like the journal and stuff that they put into the new version of that game. It can be a huge pain in the ass to play it. So I totally get why people didn't like that game.
I do, but I was not one of them.
No,
Yeah.
I mean it's got that creepy moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That alone.
And it's got that crazy side quest that takes like the whole game to do, and then like you get to the end and it's
Is
like
that the one where you get the two people together or whatever?
yes, yeah. Okay, I was trying to be vague because I didn't want to spoil, but I guess
I've heard about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's a moratorium on like if you didn't play a game for 20 years, like I think you.
I know,
your rights
but,
get
like,
pissed about.
You know,
Like I try to be sensitive to
cool
people. If it's a
power
game that's
dungeon,
from
too.
like the last, year or two, I try to kind of tiptoe around spoilery stuff. But like once the game.
Have you finished Resident Evil yet?
No, I'm in the
I did.
I'm in the factory. I guess that's a non-spoiler that there's an area that is a factory. I guess I'm in the factory. I'm almost done with the factory. I think though because
You're really, really close. Yeah.
I fought the plagiarism boss, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, like again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers because that is a new game. But I killed the plagiarism boss. And
damn, you fought the Terminator? Shit.
yeah, I'm not that far off actually. If you look up the story about what the plagiarism boss is. But actually, the funny thing is, and maybe it was my expectations, but I saw like reviews before the game came out of people being like, "Oh, there's like this section that's like this industrial area or whatever, and it's like the worst part of the game." And I was expecting like it's gonna be on the level of the fucking tanker section in Resident Evil 7.
Right.
Which was
Yeah,
fucking
there's
garbage.
nothing
The
in that
tanker
game that's
section
like that.
sucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just saying it
nothing
was
like
not at all like that.
No.
But had I played the scary part yet when we talked last week? I don't think
No,
I had.
you had not. No,
Had
you
not.
were fighting Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, that's right. I streamed it last week and I was
Yeah.
fighting that.
Right.
Dude, that
So,
boss
Yeah. So
looks
you had not
fucking-
played the second area, which was fucking great.
Yeah, the second area, the part where
Holy
everybody
shit.
says is really scary, is pretty scary.
It's pretty fucking scary. That whole final chunk of that, I was just, ugh.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, I think the final chunk isn't as bad as the chunk in the basement, but
Well, yeah, that's the last part of the basement part is what I was.
oh yes.
That part, yeah.
Well, but every part of
The-
that, like the when you go into the like autopsy room, for lack of a better way of describing it, and
Yeah,
like
right.
the thing that's on the table in that
Yeah.
room is like unsettling in a way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
then when the interesting thing about that is that the monster that is sort of the crux of that whole section felt more like a Silent Hill or even like a Splatterhouse
100%.
monster than a Resident Evil monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really liked that whole section, and I liked this section after it. The section
The-
after it
the
is like a
third boss
little,
section.
it's a little bit of a come down from the second section.
Yeah.
But it still was like an enjoyable bit, and that boss was probably the hardest boss I've had to fight so far.
Yeah.
On hardcore, he's got a lot of health and he does a shitload of damage. And there's the thing where he does like the
How
whole
much did he barf the acid rain on you?
a lot. I was gonna say he does like
Yeah.
Toadman's. He uses Toadman's power, and if you don't get under something, it does just a shitload of damage to you. And it's at least on hardcore, that game does a very good job of giving, or at least I've found, giving me just enough resources to make it through every encounter, and leaving me like when I'm done, I'm like, okay, now I have like 3 bullets left for this gun
Right.
and 2 bullets left for this gun and no bullets left for this gun, and I use all my pipe bombs and I only have 1 landmine left.
Yep. Yep. I was doing the same.
But it does it
Most of the
like
time.
yeah, and so it's like it feels like I just the plagiarism boss, I'm really trying to save all my magnum shells, because that is my go-to hot strat for us, is to save the magnum shells for the final boss. So I'm trying not to use any magnum shells, and I got to the point on the plagiarism boss where I was like, I'm out of bullets for literally every other gun I have, and I have 2 landmines left. And if they don't kill him, I'm gonna have to use the magnum or reload my save, and try to fight him again and be more accurate with my other guns earlier in the fight.
Right.
But fortunately, my second to last mine killed him. He stepped on it and it killed him, and I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I'm still liking it a lot. I don't know, in spite of the fact that there is nothing so far as bad as the fucking tanker. I don't think I like it quite as much as 7. In part because 7 just felt so fresh compared to.
Yeah.
Also, like, the thing I like about 7 is that it's pretty contained. Like even like the sort of cobbled together lab in the salt mines at the end of 7 still feels like it is an organic outgrowth of like the setting itself. And with Village, it's like, yeah, you're in this village, but like you go to these sort of different corners of all the lords' houses and stuff, and it's like it doesn't feel as cohesive. It feels like they had a bunch of good ideas and they were like, well, we'll just put all of these good ideas on the outskirts of the same village.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
I can see what you mean by that, but I feel like it still hangs together pretty well.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel disjoint from a gameplay perspective.
No, it doesn't. That's
And
true.
it does clip right along.
That's true. It does that.
I didn't spend any time where I'm just like, how
Yeah.
much further do I have to go in this area?
Right. Nothing felt. All the areas felt like they ended when they should so far.
Yeah.
Nothing felt like, oh god, like I have to walk all the way back through this part again, and
Right.
whatever. Although I honestly think, like, of the areas so far, I think the first area could have been a little bit longer. The Dimitrescu, not the,
I would have
the
liked
first
to have
area is the
been-
village, but
Yeah.
Dimitrescu Castle could have
Yeah.
been.
I would have been enjoyed spending more time there once I realized that it wasn't going to be essentially the entire game.
Right, because that was, I mean, again, that was the marketing, right? It was like, this is
Yeah.
going to be like the mansion in 1, and you're going to be here on the
Yeah.
property of this castle for like most of the game.
Yeah.
And obviously that turned out like very much not to be the case.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't think is a spoiler at this point. I think everybody is aware that that's just the beginning of the game, basically.
Yep. Certainly if they watched the stream last night.
Yeah,
last week.
last week, yeah, right. So yeah, I don't know. I can tell that I'm getting towards the end because there are 4
Yep.
lords, and as you pick them off, you get the sense of like, well, there's 4 lords and Mother Miranda. I know how many of them are left, so I know that I'm relatively close. But looking at my Steam timer has not been helpful because I feel like a lot of people played on the standard difficulty and they finished the game in like 12-ish hours, and I'm like way
Yeah.
fucking
I think
past that.
I was at 12 hours. Yeah.
I think my Steam timer is close to 20 hours currently.
Right.
So, but I'm still really enjoying it, and I know that when I finish it, it unlocks Mercenaries, but it also unlocks New Game Plus, and I haven't even looked at like when I do a Resident Evil game, I try to do like a clean playthrough without looking at like any of the stuff. So like I don't even know what the bonus weapons are or how to unlock them. I assume I'll unlock some stuff because I'm playing on the harder difficulty, and usually that at least gives you some fun little knickknack that you can use on subsequent playthroughs. So I mean, I think I'm going to be busy with it for a while, but I am definitely like wanting to be done with this first playthrough so that I can go back and like read other people's spoiler tagged takes in different places that or reviews that I saw or heard had spoilers. I can see kind of what they thought, because I just want to with something like this, I just want to experience it kind of organically at first. And 19.1 hours is what Steam says, and I'm about done with the factory area, so I don't know what that means for how many more hours I have.
I'm gonna guess you're within 2.
Oh, Damn. Maybe I'll finish it tonight then.
It kind of depends on how it goes, but
Well, it's like 7 actually. On the harder difficulty, the difficulty is very much front loaded. Like in 7, the fight against Mia before you can access any of your bonus weapons or anything. On hardcore or Madhouse, it was called in that version. That's
you actually streamed when
hard.
you were playing that. She was kicking the shit out of you. Most of that hour.
Yep. Although I will say that fight has gotten a little bit easier for me because that was my first playthrough on Madhouse, and I didn't realize the importance of blocking yet. And that fight, when you realize that, like, yes, I can and should block when she attacks, makes quite a bit of difference. But it's still probably the hardest thing in the game on the harder difficulty. And similarly, the first big attack of the Lycans in RE8 on the harder difficulty is a real motherfucker. And I ended up kind of cheesing it because once you realize that, like, because you don't know, right? The first time you play it, it's like, am I trying to get to a certain place? Do I have to kill that giant dude with the hammer who shows up? Like, what do I gotta do?
Yeah.
And eventually you kind of realize, like, oh no, this is a timing thing, because the same things happen no matter how far through the map I get. If I'm running the same sort of route through the map, like, the same stuff happens at 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. So I think it's timed. And once I figured that out, then it was more like, okay, I'm not trying to rush from here to here to here to get to this place, because I eventually need to find my way to a door that's unlocked where it'll move me to the next section. It is literally, like, it says that the goal objective thing says survive the attack, but you don't really know necessarily what that means, but it literally means survive the attack. And once I figured that out, then it was just like, okay, now it's about pacing myself, and we're at places where you can lay low. Like, don't just shove the bookshelf in front of the door and go up the ladder and go out the house. Like, stay in the house with the door barricaded until you have to leave. And then I was able to get through it. But that part was definitely the hardest thing I've done in that game so far, and it's right at the beginning. So
look at this fucking ship. Back, baby.
I'm back. Yeah.
The Normandy 2.
I fucking love this game.
but I also
I need to play Resident Evil now that I'm done now that I'm finally done with Mass Effect Andromeda. I think that's next on the,
because you bought it, right? You've had it.
Yeah,
for
I've
a
had
while,
it since
right?
it came out, but
yeah.
the thing is, I knew that if I put Mass Effect Andromeda on the back burner to play that, then
you'd never go back to it.
I'd never be able to go back to it.
Yeah.
But I'm really, like, I really had a really good time with that game. Like, it's very, like, the writing is so uneven. It's really kind of bizarre, but I still thought it was pretty darn good. But it's not as good as this one.
I mean, again, isn't this
What
broadly
is?
Considered the best game in the series? Like,
Yeah.
arguably
I mean,
the best
this is-
game of this generation.
But yeah, I
to
would
some
say
people.
that it almost certainly is, and I mean, it's arguably also the best game that BioWare ever made, which is
An unbeatable record at this point.
yeah.
BioWare.
Or BioWare.
Yeah.
I'm sad because everybody was wrong about Andromeda, or I mean, they weren't wrong about it, but the hate was so far that they, like, I want to finish that, and I'm never gonna see what happens. I'm not gonna spend any more time with my cool friends. It's kind of a bummer, but
Did the doctors, like, did they start a different company, or did they just
no,
retire?
they're,
They
one
retired.
of them is like running a brewery, I think.
Yeah, one does
Sounds right.
artisanal brewing stuff, and the other one plays poker.
Yeah,
So,
I
Yeah.
mean,
living their best lives,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how much involvement they even had, like,
by that point.
yeah, like, even when, like, Mass Effect was coming out, like, that was, like, that's why everybody was so excited when Casey Hudson came back, because, like, the two good Mass Effects were kind of his babies.
Yeah,
That's how
he
it was
drove
perceived
those, right.
anyways, but
Yeah.
I don't know how much that was the fact or not, but Anyways,
So what, before we go, I feel like we're kind of maybe organically reaching the end of the stream.
I mean,
here
I haven't
tonight,
been saying anything because I've been playing Mass Effect 2, but
Right, but I do have to ask, how did you fix OBS?
I didn't. I'm using the Streamlabs version of it because I couldn't get the studio version to work. This also, I tried this like last weekend, the Streamlabs version of OBS, and that didn't work either last weekend. But now it's working, I guess. I don't understand. I still don't have a clue what's going on. I tried like uninstalling and reinstalling, and I tried
Weird.
all kinds of stuff with like enabling sound devices and like updating sound drivers and deleting sound drivers, and it just will not accept, like it just will not pick up my desktop audio, which is so weird.
Leave Fargate now.
Go talk to Yeoman Rand.
Whatever she wants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't.
Blasted scavengers.
Kelly Chambers.
Welcome to Omega.
Yeah.
Shepard.
You know who I am?
Of
Does she
Freaking
die in the
Batarians.
third one?
Tag the moment
She can
Only if
die
you
in the
fuck up.
second one, right? If you screw up.
Yeah, if you fuck up, yeah.
Like everybody dies in the third one.
Oh yeah, she can. Well, she can definitely die in the second one. That's right. I
She's
forgot
like
about
the
that.
easiest character to get killed.
And then her fish die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's correct.
I'll talk to your boss when
then
I'm
you
done.
better get after.
Second Batarian.
I'm receiving quarantine warnings about the slums where Dr. Morton
I don't know if there's ever like a decent Batarian in any of these games.
I don't think so. Not that I can recall.
They're
the people you're supposed to be racist towards.
Right, they just exist as
They're-
cannon fodder.
They're the ones to be acceptably racist towards.
Yeah.
Space racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, for all the flaws in Mass Effect Andromeda, the biggest flaw is that there's just not enough variety in the guys that you're shooting or the
And the things to be racist about.
Well, not even exactly. Like there's not enough. There aren't enough other weird alien species. There's like the main ones from like there aren't even any Elcor, Volus, or Hanar, or Batarians, or any of those. Like there's none of those are there at all. It's just humans, Taurians, Solarians, Asari, and
Well, there's
Barovia. And then
there's the robot people, and then there's like the bug people.
There's the Ket people. They're the bad guys, and then there's the Angarans, who's the people that you bump into.
They're the ones that make.
And there's the
make
robot.
sweaters out of.
That's what they tell me.
But yeah, it's super. It's just like
I assume the
there's like a
Elizabeth
lot of
told you about our arrangement.
a lot of space there where there could have been some new, different, interesting,
No.
Good. Picked up a
interesting
skeleton
like
named
weird
Safety
alien
recently
species that you just kind
captured
of never
in
run into.
Belfast.
And also, all of the
Around
planets that you go to tend to have the same fauna. It's like all the same weird dinosaur creatures show up on every planet for some reason. But
Budget.
yeah, I mean you can feel it, right? Like where they just like
Yeah.
we didn't have a big enough team or enough money or enough time to put everything into this game that it needed.
It definitely had a famously troubled development,
Yeah.
as did the Bioware game before it and after it, and with increasing troubledness.
What was the one before it?
Inquisition.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
That's right.
And then
That was
Anthem.
like where things were starting to go wrong, but still kind of worked out, and then like
I mean, Mass
this
Effect 3,
happened,
man.
and then Anthem.
Mass
fucking
Effect
moved.
3 was before Dragon Age and Inquisition, and Mass Effect 3 also has a lot of those same problems, where the writing is super uneven, and there's a lot of side quests that are just like nothing and all that stuff. Like
Almost like
it's been this way for a while. Yeah.
it's almost like selling the company to EA like ended up like ruining the company.
Yeah. I don't. But
something.
see, I felt that way about Mass Effect 1, and it wasn't until Mass Effect 2 came out that I really like got way into Mass Effect. I didn't even I didn't finish 1 until after 2 came out. Because I just thought that it played so poorly. But check out this Elcor bouncer.
Come on, let me in. Ari's expecting me.
I'm gonna go awkwardly dance, and then I guess we can call it a night.
Bouncer, annoyed.
Yeah, I don't. It's just, oh man, I wish that there. I wish
Can
that
Shepard
anyone
pole
else
dance
that I knew
and-
had played through Mass Effect Andromeda, because there's so much that I want to talk about, because it's such a weird, flawed, cool game. But
I mean,
So,
I played it.
Can-
Played a lot. I played it 200 hours.
yeah, you said you didn't finish it though, right? You didn't finish.
No,
the-
I played like
Yeah.
half of the single
I
player.
do
maybe.
have it. I should play it.
like
So
PB
can-
is such a
can-
great character, and Vetra is great, and Drac is the best Krogan. And I know that you guys are gonna say that I'm crazy because of how cool
What?
Rex is, but it's actually.
I like Drac.
Drac is
I don't know
actually
about. I don't know.
the
Like
best.
Rex is like Rex. He's my beautiful son. But like like
If you're looking for
I
ways
mean,
not to
he was
hurt
pretty good. I
yourself,
liked him a lot. I definitely Grunt is easily the worst. That's like easy.
Yeah.
And Drac was pretty good.
told your
So
person to talk to
Smoke
about
Monster says yo in the chat. Smoke Monster is showing up just in time for us to like be about to sign
Now
off.
Alex and I are going deep on Mass Effect
Uh,
Andromeda because
I mean, really, all I can talk about is the multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I know.
So can Shepard pole dance? And perhaps more importantly, if you're dude Shep, can you pole dance in this bar?
No, all you could do is like an awkward shuffle, which is
Ah,
a good time.
But you need more.
What's up, Arya? But it's just like there's so many things in Mass Effect Andromeda where I can't tell if they're just like doggedly following the like. There's like a bar in one of the worlds. It's an awful lot like this, which is also an awful lot like one of the bars in the original Mass Effect. And it's just like I can't tell if it's intentional, like if it's supposed to like make you feel weird that they're like redoing all the same stuff.
Maybe I'll be here.
I don't know. It's just such a weird game because it's like even you go into this other galaxy and it's like the plot is basically the same thing where there's like
Same
these
as it would've
ancient
been.
aliens that set up all this infrastructure that you have to figure out how to work or else you'll all die. And then there's also like another mysterious ancient aliens that are working against those ancient aliens that you don't even find hardly anything out, any information about those characters or those other aliens at all in that game. Like it's all like teased and stuff like that. And then there's all these connections to Cerberus and stuff in the plot that again is just like
doesn't go
It's
anywhere
like-
because there's no sequel.
right. It doesn't go anywhere because there's no sequel. It's just I don't know. Where's
There's
the
also
dance?
like there was
I
supposed to
can
be
watch.
DLC where it was it the no, not the Turians.
This makes
The
me
Quarians
uncomfortable.
were supposed to get there, I think,
Right.
right?
Well, the Quarians like have some kind of like virus in their ship, and they send a message of warning you to stay away. But then they never, obviously you never get to see it, and they never.
Yeah,
show
they
up.
were supposed to make it DLC, and then like they just like canceled all DLC for the game. So
Alright,
it's
here we
like,
go. Now we're playing Mass Effect.
when you do your awkward shuffle,
Yeah.
hell yeah,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah.
This is how I dance when I go to concerts, also. But
How much lower lip biting is there?
That is an extremely awkward shuffle. Is that supposed to is it intentional?
I
Is
think
it supposed
so,
to be
yeah.
like Shepard
Yeah.
is awkward as shit and that's how they dance?
I mean, Shepard is she's
I mean,
a fighter.
she just
not a
got
dancer,
reconstructed.
Right. Also, she's wearing armor and has like 18 guns strapped to her back.
That's right. You be nimble and boogie.
I mean, maybe you
All
should have
that
changed
going on.
clothes before you have a pleather dress that you
Right.
could have changed.
I could be
into.
sexy blacksmith and dance.
Right,
That
exactly.
would be more
No,
conducive.
there's no time for that.
Smoke
we gotta
monsters,
save the
dance,
galaxy.
dance, dance.
Galaxy's got to be saved. Yeah.
Right.
The Reapers, man, they're everywhere. We
We
gotta
gotta
get.
make these things. Yeah. Brrrr. We gotta make the galaxy ready. Like Jacob,
Right.
just over your shoulder there, like, what's up?
Jacob sucks. He's like super boring.
Just drink a
It's like-
poison drink, like what the fuck?
I mean, compared to, He's
I
amazing.
I know.
Because fuck that guy.
That bartender tried to poison me.
Titan's like not even bad. He's just boring. There's just like
He's
nothing.
the ultimate wet blanket. He's the wettest blanket that ever existed.
It's the galactic wet blanket.
Yeah. Whatever you want, Mom. Fucking get the fuck out of here. Now go sacrifice yourself, because it's what needs to happen for the good of the
Because
galaxy.
you're the most expendable.
Right. Also, nobody likes you, but
Yeah.
I mean, Ashley's also expendable. It's like a win-win kind of.
I had fun trying to convince
That's the
Ashley
knock
not
against
to be so
Kaiden.
racist.
That
Right.
that you would rather sacrifice him than Ashley, even though she's objectively terrible.
You can listen. You can talk her into not being so terrible. It's great.
You can.
I know I did
Yeah.
that, but it's still like
And then when she shows up in 3, she's
Whatever.
super racist again. She learns
Yeah.
nothing.
Checks out.
because you're not there to guide her.
Yeah. Didn't take.
You're not there to guide her.
Oh.
Whatever. Listen, I think it might be time for me to go to bed.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
sounds like
Yeah,
maybe it
that
is. Yeah.
Sounds 100%. Right. Good times.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out and chatting in the chat, people who are doing that, and we'll be back next week with something else. Or maybe more of this. Who knows?
Maybe.
Check out this 11-year-old video game.
Yeah.
Play through all
All the
of
kids
Mass
are playing
Effect
it.
2. I mean,
Streaming
listen,
old video games on this channel, perish the thought.
I know is this officially an old video game now that it's more than 10 years old?
I believe that makes
Yeah.
it. Oh, yeah, and it's two generations as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, generally is sort of the.
There you go. Yeah.
Fuck.
Passed all the benchmarks.
I guess that's true. There's somebody out there who's like, I played that when I was a kid.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
And they're like,
Yep.
yeah.
I feel old when I see people being like, I played the GameCube. I had a GameCube when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh my god. Like,
I had
so
I like how I
many,
did the
many,
Paragon action there.
many
and
years ago.
Still got that guy
Go ahead.
killed. Sorry, go ahead. Kurt.
Many years ago, I was playing Donkey Kong on MAME on my computer when my little nephew came over, and he was like, I don't know, 12 or something at the time. He was like, "Is that Mario?" I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Shit, this game came out from before you were born."
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
I mean, to be fair, that game came out before I was born. So
I'm aware.
right? Or wait, maybe not.
Donkey Kong? No.
Donkey Kong '83.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
No,
that.
so there was no. That was within. That is within my lifetime.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
Fetus.
Yeah.
No,
But
I
see,
wasn't
that's
even a fetus then.
The thing that makes me feel young is when Kurt talks about playing Contra in college. So I mean, I also played Contra in college, but it wasn't new when I played Contra in college.
That's right.
So
That's right. All right.
Oh, they're right. The Vorcha exists also. Look, there's several cannon fodder species in this game.
Yeah,
Eric's
the
gonna,
Vorcha
in Mass
Eric's
Effect
gonna
Terran.
stream Mass Effect 2 all night. If,
All night. Yeah.
you know.
All right.
I mean, you can.
I'm
I
gonna
don't,
go-
don't let me stop
I'm
you.
gonna go play some more Mass Effect 2.
All right. That sounds like a good time.
I can't stream
Bye,
Mass Effect
everybody.
2. I gotta go play Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.